Welcome back to Most Excellent Adventures. Today we're talking about our first Halloween Horror Nights 30 speculation video with special guest Mary. Miss Mary. Alright. I don't know how long she'll sit up here. So we're going to put the speculation map up on screen. This is the one that everyone's going off of Horror Night Nightmares. They usually post it on Twitter and things like that. And they're usually very accurate. We're going to talk about their speculation map. Things we would like to see, or our, guesses of what could come this year. So, starting with number 1, we have Universal Monsters, The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. We both went through this house at Hhn Light in Orlando. By the way, this is an Orlando speculation. But we both went through that house. It was my favorite out of the two. We didn't get to go through the Beetlejuice house, unfortunately.
Yeah, because they did it like very last minute.
Last minute, last
like literally
weekend.
the weekend after we had gone.
I was upset. I wish we could have at least gone through it, but I understand they had to do it for licensing reasons to keep the IP. But the first house is the Universal Monsters, The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. I love this house. A 10 out of 10 for me.
I liked all the cameos of all the other original monsters.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Like, don't want to spoil too much. I mean, they've already put videos of it up.
Yeah.
But they had like tanks with like the Wolfman in it and Swamp Thing in it, and
pretty cool.
Like where the bride was draining their powers to bring back Frankenstein's monster. So that was pretty cool. We love that house. If it comes back, I'm okay with that. So the second thing on the map is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm not too big on this one.
I've seen a few of those movies.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed of me.
I'll go through there, but
it's alright. I mean, it's gonna be like very gory house if they do it, because it's all about.
Yeah, they did it. What, Hhn 26, something like that.
I don't even
25.
remember. We didn't go to that one.
Yeah,
it was a while back.
It was a while back, but they already did it. But it was like the original movie. Maybe they'll do, an updated movie if they do this house. If not, I'm pretty sure Universal couldn't get.
I'd be okay if they replaced that one with something.
Yeah, with something else. Yeah, I don't know if Universal could get the IP for, say, Scream, but
I wish.
That would be pretty cool. I don't think they could get the
that would be awesome.
licensing for that. The next house is Revenge of the Tooth Fairy. We went through this house at Hhn Light Orlando.
That house smelled good.
It did.
I wasn't scared. I mean, I did scream in some spots of the house, but
yeah.
It was a very cool, different kind of house. The monsters weren't that scary, not in my opinion.
No.
But I love the storytelling that they did throughout that whole house. It was like reading a storybook.
Yeah, it looked like a book when you were walking in.
Yeah.
Of course, that video is up as well, so really no spoilers. But yeah, I definitely like that house. Anything Universal original is gonna be good.
It kind of reminded me of Scary Tales.
It did. Yeah, it had that vibe to it for sure. The next house on the list is Hhn Icons Capture.
I'm pretty sure they'll have that one.
I'm almost certain they're gonna have that.
They're gonna bring back all the original characters.
They amped up the Icons tribute store, so no doubt that they're gonna do like an Icons house. Yeah, no doubt. I think that one's definitely gonna happen. The next one is Welcome to Scary Horror in the Heartland, which is the Cary, Ohio
sure
haunted
they'll have
house.
something like that too, because that was like the town they based. I guess it was like around Hhn.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore that goes on with Cary, Ohio.
Like the scare zones that they did. They did that one year when we went. They had like an old truck set out there, and it was like an old chapel. And it was
the Harvest. Yeah. Hey everyone, so future Most Excellent Dudes here. We are talking about the Harvest. Ignore us when we're saying the Harvest. We actually meant to say Twister Twisted Traditions, not Twisted
Taters.
Taters. Good food at HHN, but Twisted Tradition. And Mary's back over there in the chair.
Yeah, that's what it was, and it was part of the Carry Ohio thing.
Right. That was probably my favorite Carry Ohio.
It was kind of 80. Yeah, it was 80s based too.
That was
wasn't
that.
It?
Yeah, because they had kids out there with like yearbooks and stuff. And
they had like the nerd types, the jock types, and stuff.
I think
like
a
that.
cheerleader as well.
So I think they were going with like a theme for that one.
Right. I like that scare zone. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I can definitely see them like doing Carry Ohio lore into a house, like all the Carry Ohio stuff mixed. So you'll see stuff from the Harvest in previous years. The next house would be the Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkin.
That one you were talking about wanting to do another pumpkin thing.
Yeah.
Because that's very Halloween-y.
Definitely, like
jack-o'-lanterns and stuff.
Anything classic Halloween feels very nostalgia with Halloween Horror Nights. And it just, I don't know. I feel like it really brings the Halloween spirit.
Did the Harvest. It was the Harvest at one time.
Yeah.
Scare zone. I
It
think
was
that's
all the
what they're going
pumpkins.
for with that house. That's
Definitely. I feel that as well. And of course, we're pretty sure, almost certain that this house is going to happen because when they were doing the behind the scenes of Puppet Theater with Greg Nicotero, they were working on masks and there was a pumpkin mask they were working on.
Yeah.
And it's one I've never seen before. So I'm almost certain that house is going to happen. The next one is Puppet Theater.
That's a confirmed one.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that one. It's going to be very freaky. Gets puppets.
Puppet Theater, captive audience. Yeah, Greg Nicotero helped work on that one, I think.
There was a house, it wasn't last year, it was the year before that we went through. It was the, what's the underwater one?
Oh,
it was the one with the fish people.
The fish people, I forgot the name of it.
Anyway, there was a giant puppet that come out the ceiling, and I freaked out. I was screaming. I got on the floor screaming, and the worker was laughing at me.
The puppets will scare you just as much as scare actors.
I think the puppets are scarier.
Yeah. This house is based off of like
marionette puppets.
Yeah, marionette puppets.
That's already creepy enough. If y'all have ever seen that movie, The Silence, or whatever it's called. I think it's called that. It's about Mary Shaw. I don't remember. But she had that marionette puppet, and I think that's kind of what they're going for.
Yeah,
that's really creepy.
The way that this house is set up from the video is that the people who run the theater have killed like the audience and turned them into puppets.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Because I think that's an interesting concept.
Right.
I'm ready to see what they do with that because I think that's going to be awesome. Plus, Greg Nicotero, that's going to be good.
He definitely
it's going to be a good house.
Yeah,
probably one of the best ones.
The next house is The Haunting of Hill House. It's on Netflix. I don't think it's going to happen.
Replace that with Sabrina. Please.
Yeah, Sarah wants Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
That would be so cool, man.
Chilling Tales of Sabrina, my bad. Yeah, if they're going to do a Netflix property, they need to do something that's a little bit more...
They've even said that that's not as popular now.
Right.
Because of the new season, it didn't attract as many viewers as the first season because it wasn't as good as the first season.
Right.
But I think Sabrina would be good because they just wrapped up the last season and I didn't agree with the ending. That's besides the point. But I think they would do a good job doing that house. They could do a lot of things with that house if you've seen the show.
The next house that's confirmed is Beetlejuice. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go to this one, but I think with some restrictions lifted, this house is going to be even better than what they previewed on that weekend.
It's going to be a very showy house too.
Right.
Like Ghostbusters was a really good, showy, like theatrical house. I think that's how Beetlejuice is going to be. And now that I'm thinking that they're not going to have the screens, that it's going to be way more immersive and it's going to be even better.
Right.
This time.
And what we mean by screens are like the plexiglass shields. Because like, I don't think those are going to be up in the Bride of Frankenstein house or Tooth Fairy. I don't think they're going to be in any house. I think that we're going to start getting back to normal once October rolls around. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. And the last house on the list is Creep Show. In Hollywood, they did a Creep Show house. And it did well. They did a mix of the old show with new stuff that's on Shudder. I could see them definitely incorporating that here in Orlando. not like 100% copycat house, because Orlando and Hollywood, even though like when they did Stranger Things, they were two totally different houses, and one's always going to be better than the other. But I could kind of see Creepshow coming. It looks like just something random that was thrown in there, though.
Yeah.
On this, it doesn't really.
It might
match.
not even happen.
Right.
They might do something else. But we're talking about, you know, houses I wish they would do, or scare zones, and we got to thinking Ghost. The band Ghost would have been a really good one.
Right, because everybody.
Very theatrical.
Yeah. So Billie Eilish. Not happening.
I wasn't thrilled about that.
Yeah, that was on last year's map, and it's not happening. There's photos of pieces of the house taken apart and sold at auctions, so that house definitely isn't happening. But like, if they were gonna go music house again, we definitely agree if you did a ghost house with all the Papas and Cardinal and the Nameless Ghouls. There's so many songs they could use that would fit the Halloween Horror Nights like vibe. But the Rob Zombie house and Scare Zone, those were phenomenal. Like, yeah, if they could do something like that again.
The Scare Zones were awesome.
Right.
And the house was even better. Mm-hmm. If you had a chance to go through that house, man, it was like screen accurate. Like
it was perfect.
Like scene for scene, they had that down.
Right. Are there any houses you'd like to see that are on this list?
I'm very, very surprised that they haven't done some sort of Scooby-Doo house.
A Scooby-Doo.
Because they own the rights to it. I mean, it's like, you'd think they would have some sort of Scooby-Doo thing. And I'm not sure. I think Warner Brothers owns Supernatural. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would have been cool if they would have done some kind of Supernatural thing.
Right.
It's just me being a fangirl for Supernatural.
That would be cool. Yeah.
They could do so much of that too.
An anniversary house would be nice. I know like the Icons house is kind of an anniversary house, and the Cary, Ohio is like an anniversary house. But Cary, Ohio mainly focuses on like the Scary, Welcome to Scary mainly focuses on the Cary story through the years, which is cool. The Icons house mainly focuses through the Icons. But what if they did like a greatest hits house? Like,
I don't know. I liked Graveyard Games a lot.
Right.
That one was awesome.
Yeah, like maybe like some original houses mixed with some IPs or something, all mixed in. But if they could do a mashup house, that would be cool. Like of all the greatest hits of the houses.
And you know, when they did the, I'm not really sure when American Horror Story 1984 came out. I think it was last year or a year or two ago. But when they did the 80s themes, I was thinking, man, I thought they were going to do like American Horror Story 1984 or something when they did that. But I don't think it got enough popularity for them to do it. But I thought that would have been cool because they haven't brought back American Horror Story in a while either.
Right.
And even The Walking Dead, I know it's not really popular anymore, but they're almost in their like last season, so I was kind of surprised they didn't do something with that.
Yeah.
It is what it is, you know.
Right. The next thing on the list would be the Scare Zones. A 30th anniversary Scare Zone would be kind of like a greatest hits house, but in a Scare Zone. That would be cool. Again. Trick or Treat would be really cool.
I love that one.
Yeah. That's that's K, so that's like the main strip, like right there in the middle of the Shrek and Despicable Me. Next is going to be L, which is an original, which is where Zombieland was, where Vamp 85 was.
I love Vamp 85.
By the Mummy. It's just going to be original. There's nothing else on that.
They also have Creepshow listed on this too.
Yeah.
As a scare zone if it wasn't going to be a haunted house. But I could see it more or less being a haunted house rather than a scare zone.
Right.
I don't know why they would put that much into a scare zone when they could do a haunted house.
And they have that down in the Rob Zombie area. Yeah. I don't know why they would do a Creepshow scare zone and a Creepshow house. Maybe Hhn Nightmares is like, it's going to be one or the other. I think it might be a scare zone before it's a house.
Let me go get my cat. She's on top of the bed. Say I'm going to bed. Good night.
I'm the culprit. Next one is like the Terror Queen. I don't want to say that last word wrong because I'm horrible at pronouncing words. Corinthus, yeah. I think it's a Terra Corinthus. It's in, so it's gonna be over in Central Park area.
Yeah.
Where Trick or Treat. Yeah.
Harvest.
I could see them bringing back a Terror Queen. Because she was supposed to come back in 15 years. This is year 30.
I don't feel like that should be a scare zone. That should be a house.
It should possibly be a house, but I'm cool with it being a scare
zone. What were you saying? Like the anniversary house?
Yeah, an anniversary house. An icon house. She could play a big role in the icon house, possibly. And then the next one is over by the Born Stuntacular. Is going to be the best of Scare Zones mashup. So they could have like Rob Zombie, Killer Clowns, all kinds of.
That would be like
the
really
Harvest,
crazy.
Trick or Treat. That would be cool. I would enjoy that. Yeah. Maybe like Puppet Chucky out there, like roasting people again. That was pretty cool. They'd have zombies from like Zombieland, Walking Dead, vampires from 55. I think it's 55. They did that, and then they did it 1985. That would be cool, but I definitely agree on a best of mashup. As for shows, the Fountain Lagoon show,
that's pretty neat.
I love that. That was awesome. Yeah. I got chills watching that. It was great.
I do like the Stranger Things little bits they put in there. It was really cool.
I love the Fountain show.
Yeah.
And then a U-Rest area is the Fear Factor Stadium. I think it's gonna stay a U-Rest zone as long as masks are a thing, but I don't see them bringing Bill and Ted back as much as we'd want Bill and Ted back. Everybody wants it back.
There's such a demand for that too.
A high demand. It's not going to come back, unfortunately. We'll see as more speculation maps come out and more houses get announced, but we know for sure Beetlejuice is coming back and Puppet Theater is coming and the Pumpkin House is coming. Because we saw little clips of it, like with the masks. That's our speculation. We hope you guys like this video. There's going to be more speculations coming out as more houses get announced. Maybe we'll elaborate and talk more on houses as they get announced. Like, hey, if they do announce Puppet Theater, we'll go talk about Puppet Theater more and, how we're excited about it. But other than that, we thank you guys for watching this video. And remember,
be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.